New cards, PogChamp. New cards, PogChamp. All right, first and foremost, we have Helltaker. Just kidding. It's a new Labrynth card. Listen, I have nothing against lesbians. But why are we getting more support? I feel like we're done. Okay. During the main phase, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard. From your... What? During the main phase, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard, from your hand. Oh. Either special summon a Labrynth monster or set a normal trap. It can be activated this turn. And when your opponent activates a card or effect in response to the activation of a Labrynth card or effect or a normal trap card or effect, and this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. This is insane. This deck is not going to live until Agov. They're going to hit it in some capacity. There's just no way that this card is allowed to be legal at the same time as the rest of the unhit deck. Speaking of cards that they're going to ban, there's no way Eradicator lives while this shit is legal. Yeah, wow. No, not for me. Next up, suck in the competition with Dark Hole Dragon. Oh! Black Hole Dragon. 3,000, 2,000. If a monster on your field is destroyed by a card or effect that did not target it, you can special summon this card from your graveyard or your hand. If this card is special summoned, add a Dark Hole from your deck to your hand during the end phase. Can't be destroyed by card effects. Card is ass, but very funny. Sneak past your opponent with Suck Penis, Little Knight. Left, right, 2 effect monsters. If this card is link summoned using a Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link monster, you can target a card on the field or the graveyard, banish it, and your monsters can't attack directly this turn. When your opponent activates a card effect, quick effect, you can target 2 face-up monsters on the field, including at least 1 monster you control, banish both until the end phase. I am not joking when I say this is like the best card that's been revealed in years. I can't believe this card exists. Like, it's truly shocking. So first and foremost, Link summoned using a Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link monster is clearly meant to be summoned off of IP Masquerena. That means when you summon it off of IP Masquerena, not only do you get to immediately banish a card, which doesn't matter because the downside doesn't matter because you're not attacking, but also you have the ability to tag out one of your monsters and an opponent's monster as well. It basically turns Masquerena into DPE plus Dystopia in the same card, explaining cards from a hero player's perspective. Imagine a DPE. Secondly, wow, the arrows are insane. This card being left and right means that if you're able to wield the effect that allows you to banish an opponent's monster and the effect that allows you to banish both a card on your side of the field and your opponent's side of the field, you can bring this back to like the center zone and just have 2 free EMZs, which means if you're playing a deck that aims to Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link monster, probably Pendulum, then you'll be able to have a bazillion different locations to summon them to. It's one of those cards that it's like on turn 1, it's an incredible part of an arsenal of like a many negates style of end board, but on turn 3, it's somehow even better. I can't believe how strong this card is. Wow, I'm really... but I don't know. I'm also kind of looking forward to seeing it. I think it interacts with other cards in a very interesting way. A way that's pretty telegraphed. And if you're meant to summon it off IP Masquerena, you know, there are already counters to that card and things like Infinite Impermanence. I'm really, really excited for sure. This will be banned at some point, to be honest. We'll see. Sprite won't be hit for this card, right? We'll see. Next up. Behold the birth of the Tistina. This is the TCG exclusive Dune archetype that we're getting instead of a 4th wave of Goatee support. So boo, boo on you, you fuckers. We do have lore for this theme. All right, where are we going?
Decide where to start talking about it. So how about we start with the Crimson Dragon?
In this world, there is a massive crystal embedded in the center of a great mountain range. An entire crystal domain extends forth from it in every direction, changing everything touched by it into the same type of crystal. The crystal rot doesn't just affect the environment either, it spreads to animals and other life forms, transforming them into a new being. Is this a natural disaster or something else? Whatever it is, the creatures it's altered continue to roam free. The rot continues to spread, and something else seems to be forming within the domain as well. At the center of it all lies something that has become known as the crystal god Tistina, and all who gaze upon its form marvel in its beauty and experience true fear. This is what? It's the Zerg, right? All I got to say about this is I don't care. This just looks like Adamancipator to me. It's a cool concept. The crystal rot is a really cool, like, tagline for this, but in practice, they look exactly like Adamanticators. They even made the bird green and the lion yellow. Please differentiate the art direction. Let's see what we got. Sentinel of the Tistina. If this card is in your hand or graveyard and you control a light Tistina, special summon this card. You can target a Tistina or a face-down card you control, destroy it, then add a Tistina card from your deck to your hand. All right. Hound of the Tistina. If this card is in your hand or graveyard and you control a light Tistina monster, free special. Tistina monsters you control can attack directly while your opponent controls a face-down defense position monster. Demigod of the Tistina. If you control a Tistina special this from your hand, then you can add a Tistina spell trap from your deck to your hand. If you control Crystal God, you can change as many monsters your opponent controls to face-down defense. Then you can send all face-up cards your opponent controls to the graveyard. It's just DDKC. Crystal God Tistina. During your main phase, you can change as many monsters your opponent controls as possible to face-down defense position. Then you can send all face-up cards your opponent controls to the graveyard. If this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can change do the effect again. Divine Domain Batista. Tistina. Okay, it has Tistina in the name. You can send a Tistina from your deck to the graveyard. Then if your opponent controls 3 or more face-up cards, you can special a Crystal God Tistina from your hand or deck. Holy shit. If this card in your field zone is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can special a Tistina from your deck or graveyard. That's unbelievable. Stop printing cards like this. Breath of the Tistina. During your main phase, free normal. Target a face-up monster you control or face a monster on the field instead. Change the face-down defense position. Add a Tistina from your deck to your hand. Jesus Christ. Signs of the Tistina. Activate this card by targeting a face-up monster on the field. Special summon this card is an effect monster. During your opponent's turn, when this target leaves the field, destroy this card. During your opponent's turn, when this card leaves the field, destroy the target. So, these are interesting. Kind of hard to place how powerful they're going to be. I like the direction they're taking with the effects. The effects are meant to be like okay turn 1, but like insanely good turn 2. Difficult to interact with in a way that an opponent like an opponent won't be able to really set it up very nicely. But like, just feels like there are a bunch of like gaps in the archetype right now, right? Like it seems like a lot relies on the field spell, and there are kinds of removal and negation that won't destroy it and will leave you just kind of in a lurch. I feel like Breath of the Tistina is like a card that like is conditionally a Rhoda and is therefore kind of hard to evaluate. I think the unfortunate truth is while like Crystal God seems crazy and Demigod seems crazy, Hound and Sentinel seem like pretty shit payoffs. But this is an archetype that like I could just be missing the mark on. Like it's really hard to evaluate in a vacuum, and it could be really crazy. It could desperately need a second wave of support, which is where I'm leaning right now. I just wish we'd get more shit like Cosmo, because I feel like, God, do we have any archetypes that are busted set 1 anymore that are TCG exclusives? I feel like every single time for the past 6 months, or like the past 2 years, every time one comes out, I go, oh, next wave will be crazy. What else do we have? Free agents. Zuto Mozarius. Well, you control another dinosaur monster. Your opponent's monsters can't target this card for attacks. You can target one card you control, destroy it. This card seems insane, right? This card seems like unbelievable. These two are fucking, first of all. Cosmo was not good till Docs. Wow, massively disagree with that. First wave Cosmo had this unbelievable representation at the ARG Circuit Series that, like, was exclusively pro players. That was day of release, too. It was playable from the get. It definitely wasn't the best deck from the get, but Slip Rider was a hell of a card. Forerunner was a hell of a card. Honest was a hell of a card. Representation doesn't equal good. I think it won an ARGCS. Let me pull it up. Yu-Gi-Oh! Top Decks is down. Awesome. All right, well, who knows then? Finis Teray, Tower of the Necroworld. If you control level 10 monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon this card once per turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target a face-up card on the field that can't be destroyed by card effects this turn. What? Is 10 axis missing extenders? This is just like a Derek Crane that can't be played in the one deck where Derek Crane's good. Quibelt the Blade Dragon. Tuner, non-tuner monsters. If this card is synchro summoned, target a card on the field, destroy it. Already pretty good. If this card on the field is destroyed, you can target a face-up monster on the field. That monster can't attack until the end of your opponent's turn. Oh shit, that's the whole card, huh? Alright, this card is not good. Storage Pod. Materials, Trifortricetops or Stegocyber, plus 1 machine or dinosaur. Jesus Christ. Can't be destroyed by battle while a monster is special summoned from the graveyard is on the field. If a monster is special summoned from the hand while this monster is on the field, target a card you control and a card your opponent controls to destroy them. What the fuck? Okay. Synchro Forceback. Target monsters on the field up to the number of synchro monsters with different names you control. Return them to the hand. This card's really cool. It's going to go Brazy in rotation. It's like Steeds, but, you know, we're way past Steeds effects being good. I think that's all I'm going to do. There's more, but like, okay, we'll do the TG, we'll do the armored, and that's it. TG. Tech Genus Rocket Salamander. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. Tribute a TG monster, special TG monster with a different original name from your deck. Holy fuck! If you control a machine TG monster, target a level 4 or lower TG monster in your graveyard, special in defense position, but its effects are negated. This is incredible. TG Mighty Striker. If this card is synchro summoned, you can add a TG spell trap from your deck to your hand once during your... Oh my god, I don't even know what those are. Like EM1. Once per opponent's main phase, you can quick effect immediately after this effect resolves. Synchro summon using monsters you control as material, including this card. If this card is sent from the monster zone to the graveyard, send a TG card from your deck to the graveyard. I could see this being good. TG Over Dragner. It's a 5. If it's synchroed, special summon any number of TG monsters from your... Holy fucking shit. It's Soul Charge. Wow. Yeah, this one's a problem. Wow. I mean, this... Wow. So if you're unfamiliar, TG has a Link monster that's just out of this world. And this just makes it. This just says... Any TG combo that gets you to this 5-star synchro gets you the material to make the Link monster and do the whole thing. That's crazy. Tech Genus Glaive Blaster. You can target a monster special summon from the extra deck, banish it. You can use this effect a number of times per turn up to the number of non-tuner synchro monsters used as synchro material. Ugh. Once per turn, if a monster becomes banished face up, target one of them. Oh, okay. That's an interesting card. TG Break Limiter. Discard a card, add 2 TG monsters with different names from your deck to your hand. Holy fuck. You could banish this card from your graveyard, target a TG monster in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, or add it to your hand if you control a machine TG. Holy fuck. That shit's going to be crazy to Ash, but this card is unbelievable. TG All Clear. TG monsters on the field become machine monsters. What? During your main phase, you can normal summon a TG monster in addition to your normal summoner set. During your main phase, you can destroy a TG monster in your hand or field. Add a TG monster with a different name from your deck or graveyard to your hand. This is probably playable. It's like a bad Rhoda. And TG Close. When your opponent activates a spell trap card or monster effect, you control a machine TG monster, negate and destroy. That's probably good as a one-of that you can search off the search spell trap guy. If a synchro monster becomes banished while this card is in your graveyard, set this card but banish it when it leaves the field. We will be experimenting with these. These are very good cards. But at the end of the day, you're still playing TG. Shark Stuff. Xyz Armor Torpedo, 2 level 3s. Can't attack unless it has material. You can detach 2 materials from this card, draw a card. While equipped with a monster, apply these effects. If the equipped monster battles until the end of the damage step, your opponent can't activate cards or effects. And if the equipped monster is an Xyz monster, your opponent cannot target it with card effects. Do not care. Draw a card on this card. You got it. That's going to come up. Xyz Armor of Fortress. Wait, hold up. This doesn't stop you from anything, so this guy replaces Fortune Tune as the Zeus pilot for 3s, right? Because you go 2 into this guy, and if you need a 2 activation Zeus, you just attack, you make Downerd, and then you make Zeus. But if you want a 1 activation Zeus, you just go draw a card, Downerd, Zeus. That's pretty crazy. Xyz Armor Fortress. 2 level 5s. Once per turn, you can Xyz summon Armor Fortress using a rank 3 or 5 monster you control. What? This card can't be used as material for an Xyz summon. The No Zeus Clause. Once per turn, you can detach up to 2 materials from this card. Add the same number of armored Xyz cards with different names from your deck to your hand. Cool. Very cool. Any battle damage your opponent takes from battles involving a monster equipped with this card is doubled. Full Armor Dark Lancer. You can summon it by using a rank 5 or 6 monster you control as material, 300 for each material attached to it. Once per turn, target an Xyz in your graveyard, add it to your hand. If a monster you control becomes equipped with an equip card, target a monster your opponent controls and attach it to it as this is material. That's cool. Entrust, add an armored Xyz from your deck or graveyard to your hand, then make the levels of up to 2 face-up monsters you control 3 or 5. And if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish it, target an Xyz monster treated as an equip card, special summon it, and full armor Xyz. If this Xyz monster is on the field, immediately after this resolves, Xyz summon, and you can banish this from your graveyard to target an Xyz monster you control. Equip 1 other Xyz monster from your face-up field or graveyard to it as an equip spell. With these effects, it gains attack, and if it would be destroyed, you can destroy this card instead. This is interesting. These are interesting cards. I guess this is like good for Shark, but I just feel like it's still not enough.